Okay, now let's talk about finding deals. There's a bunch of different ways you could find deals. The multiple listing service, scour it, but don't bird dog it. Nobody's going to pay for an MLS lead, and that's a fact. If you actually have the cash to purchase the property and you're looking for a foreclosure or a HUD foreclosure or something for yourself, then I guess there's nothing wrong with scouring the MLS, but you're not going to find an abundance of wholesale deals on the MLS, and you're not going to be able to assign them with real estate agents involved. So I wouldn't waste my time doing that, but I thought we should touch on it just a little bit. Networking. Contact those nearest you and let them know that you buy houses. This is very important. I know this sounds like a whole lot of schemes in the past where you go and you buy into something, you try to sell something to your family. You're not trying to sell anything. What you're trying to do is let people know that you buy houses. I'll give you an example. When we mail out electricity bills, water bills, any kind of bills, any kind of correspondence that comes out of my office, no matter what it is, gets a business card put inside of it. The poor people in the electric company probably have a box of them somewhere. They just keep tossing them out. But if nothing else, if somebody in their office was facing foreclosure or got a divorce and was going to lose their home, you know what? They'd say, I know this crazy guy that every month he mails in a card with his bill. And sure enough, when the bill gets mailed in that month, they open it up and there's my card. So you never know where you can get a deal from. You have to be creative. This is so important. You have to find your niche. You have to find what other people are not doing, and you have to do it. Let's see here. Vacant houses, vacant land, driving around and then trying to skip trace to contact owners. You know, driving for dollars is very, very profitable. I got to tell you, two of my favorite ways of getting deals are driving for dollars and knocking on doors. And the reason is, especially with foreclosures, when you're dealing with foreclosures, people, once the list pendants is filed or notice of default, all these investors that don't want to go out and do anything, they figure it's a numbers game. They go and they download or they buy a list of foreclosures that are coming up, and they start marketing to those people. I've had so many clients that I've assisted with short sales or taken their house over subject to who were in foreclosure that have shown me stacks and stacks of postcards, a lot of postcards, a lot of different size postcards, but letters also. But one of the things that I seem to find that is common is with the postcards, when you're putting stop foreclosure, that seems to it sometimes seems to make some homeowners mad or want to throw it away. A lot of people are in denial, and they see that, and they don't want their mailman knowing they're in foreclosure. They don't want their neighbors, you know, depending on where you live, you know, small town gossip, that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'd be real careful what I was to put on my message if I was to use the method of using postcards that were one-sided and stated that I stop foreclosures, or I buy homes in foreclosure, or I help you if you're in foreclosure, that kind of stuff. So let's get back to finding deals. Houses that are in disrepair, they're vacant. You know, you ride by them, you could tell. You're riding a neighborhood now. As you're going through the neighborhood, go up and down the streets, you're finding homes that are, the grass is 12 inches high, hasn't been cut. There's a bunch of newspapers in the driveway. There's no lights on whatsoever, not even a light by the foyer or on the garage or anything. You know, the windows are open. You can see inside as you're walking up. Those type houses, you definitely want to walk up, knock on the door first, see if there's any postings that say no trespassing. Maybe a bank-owned foreclosure or something, but normally you can walk around them. At least I do anyway. And, you know, without breaking into anything, I'll go around the back. Sometimes the back door is open, that kind of stuff, and look at the property. But the next thing to do is when you find a vacant property is to find the people that own the property. Where is that property? Who owns it right now, right then? Has that property been foreclosed on? Or is the seller has the seller picked up and moved off and said the hell with it, and the bank hasn't gotten around to foreclosing on it yet? Or did someone move and they have two mortgages? Maybe there was tenants that were living there and they skipped out and trashed the house, and the seller that lives out of state, that owns it, the owner that lives out of state, is just tired of dealing with it. And I've dealt with all these situations, so you know that makes for a motivated seller, no doubt. So you definitely want to work with motivated sellers on these type of deals, like I said. So you know, That's another great way. When you find these vacant houses, what you need to do is you need to write the address down. You need to make notes of the address. Go back, and if your county records, your tax records for your county or city are online, you should be able to look up the property address, and you should be able to see what the county is taxing it, what it's saying that it's assessing the property value at. So basically, it's saying it's worth $150,000, which can fluctuate up or down. So I'm not saying to use this as written in stone. I'm just saying this is a good way to get an idea. It'll show you the rate of the taxes. It'll show you if the taxes have been paid or if they're late, depending on what part of the year it is that you're looking this up. So that's another great way to find properties and to teach your bird dogs to find you properties. If you can have your bird dogs out in certain neighborhoods, and I'll teach you how to find those neighborhoods that are good to invest in, and it's really simple technique to use. Matter of fact, let me get it off my chest right now. You want to find out in your area where the areas are that are hot. You want to find out where the other investors are investing, where the builders are, well, not necessarily the builders. Let's stick with the investors. You want to find out where the other investors are investing, where they're getting their houses from. There's a lot of big corporations down there. You've seen the ugly yellow guy that buys houses. I don't want to mention any names. They're pretty much a nationwide franchise, if I'm not mistaken. And I know there's other ones around the country, depending on where you live and what part of the country you're in. But you will be able to pick up the phone and call these people. And, of course, you could find them in your Sunday newspaper. You could find them in the free rags that you could pick up at the stores, Green Sheet, Penny Savers, all that kind of stuff. These are people advertising that they buy houses, quick cash, fast closings, no cost to you, can close in 24 hours, that kind of stuff. All those people are people that are investors looking for deals. They are perfect for your buyer's list, first of all. You want to add them to your buyer's list because if they're not wholesalers and they're actual investors, they're going to love the fact that you are bringing deals to them. And if the numbers are right, they're going to want to keep getting them from you. So you want to do that. You want to make sure that you have a list of all these investors, and that is one way to do that, getting the investors through the newspaper. Now, second of all, what you're going to do is you're going to explain to these companies that either you're a new bird dog, you are looking to get started in real estate, and you're very hungry, you have time to work. What I would like to do is I would like to bird dog for you and locate properties for you. So you're on the phone with Mr. Yellow Ugly Guy Buys Homes, and you're saying to his agents that are there, look, I want to locate properties for you. And he's thinking, well, I have to locate so many properties or my ass gets canned from this job. So, okay, here's where we're looking for. We're looking in zip code, blah, 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 blah. We're looking at this side of town. We'll pay this much money. We will or we will not deal with structural damage or foundation damage. And you'll get all this information from them. And they're telling you where they're operating. They're telling you where they're buying houses. They're telling you where they're putting their money and where they're flipping and obviously making money, unless you go down there and you find out there's something totally wrong with the market, which you should always check, but this is a good way to find out. You have 2 or 3 investors that are operating in certain areas, and they may be operating just from mailers. They might not be knocking at doors, and you hit those same neighborhoods and knocked on doors and got those properties under contract. Those investors would have to buy from you, and you just made money. So that's what it's about. It's about you making money. It's about you maximizing your profit. The heck with the $300 or $500 for a bird dog. You need to be a wholesaler, and I'm going to walk you through this, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is that you're going to need to know and to do and when and how to do it to be successful with this business.